Hey guys, Gundam here, and this is my tutorial video on how to make a ground type Gundam version 2. This mostly involves joint replacement, which we have a tutorial for in our Custom Gundams tutorial videos, and that tutorial will pretty much tell you how to do most of it. But I'll tell you where I got the parts. The version 2 legs came from a Gundam version 2, the RX-78 version 2. And what I did was I did joint replacement and took out the original joints, sure, you know, in this guy, and then I put the new joints into him. The only thing that really required was this part right here. The inside of it was a little thick, and so I had to thin it, and then this fit deeper in, and that worked pretty well. The next thing that was involved, actually that's a little harder, so I'll get to that. Strike arms. I took the arms out of the ground type Gundam, which the way these work is there's a part that sticks up into here that allows it to turn, that goes through this part. And so it's a little different than the legs. And so I removed the Strike Gundam's arm joints and basically implanted them into the ground type Gundam. Something I did do though was I took the part that sticks up and I added some super glue to it and stuck it in here and moved it around, and then I took it back out and let it dry, and that gave it a little more friction and a tighter feel. But it worked pretty well. The next thing I did was I cut off the ground type Gundam's little peg, and I used a Dremel. First I used an awl, which is a really sharp pointy instrument, kind of like the end of a nail, and only kind of sharper, and just poked a hole, a decent sized hole, and then I used my Dremel to, you know, using that hole as a guide, Dremeled into there for a ball joint. And this is the ball joint, hand joint, wrist joint, etc. of the Strike. And because the Strikes, this part that you see right here, this gray part, that was actually kind of embedded into the Strike's plastic, along with the part that goes down, you know, kind of the tube part that implants. I didn't want to implant into the ground type Gundam, so you see that part? No, you don't, because the camera doesn't want to focus. This part that sticks out, I just cut that off, and this replaced it, which worked pretty well. It's not really noticeable. It looks like it belongs. And that gives me this great wrist action and just ability to pose a little bit better. The neck. The neck involves taking a very small hobby knife and cutting around. And I'll show you what a standard one looks like. The one on the left has been modified. My camera hates us and doesn't want to show you. Bad camera. Bad camera. Focus. Focus. You can do it. There you go. So you can see the difference. This one is just kind of solid round all the way around. This one's been cut into at an angle, and that just gives it the ability to look around and move around. I didn't do anything to the shoulders, though I do have a way where the shoulder is already on and you can cut a real thin piece of plastic and glue it. But it's very tricky, but then your shoulders don't fall off anymore. And that's nice. The next is the waist. The waist was a reasonable amount of work. Very similar to the head. I had to Dremel, because basically I took a Strike Gundam's waist, I stuck it in there and I glued it, and then I filled in any gaps with an epoxy putty because he's not coming apart. And then I Dremeled the inside of the Gundam so that it would have a round ball joint up inside there. Made it a little deeper at times too. And then I cut around, and you can see it's kind of rough, but that's what gives him that joint action, and it was worth it. It totally was worth it. Now, the ball joints on the strike are too small for the ground type Gundam's legs holes. And so what I did was I mixed up some epoxy putty and I stuck it on there, and I stuck the leg on there, and I moved it around. I took them apart and I let it dry for 3 or 4 hours. And what it did, you can see the green in there maybe, is the epoxy putty filled in the size of the upper legs, and now they fit the ball joint of the Strike Gundam legs. And that is how you build a Gundam version 2. It might sound hard, it really wasn't, though you would probably want some ground type Gundam extra parts on hand, you know, in case something went wrong as you were building or cutting. You know, sometimes a joint breaks off or something like that. I did actually have a joint break on me, and that was unfortunate, but I made it work, and you can't even notice. Well, hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I would be pretty surprised if anybody else actually does this, but hopefully it inspires you at very least. I got my inspiration from a place called Mobile Student Action Hall, where people who are way better than me make customs that will absolutely blow your mind. And they inspired me, so I made this guy. If you're looking for Gundam MSI action figures to fill up your collection with, make sure to check out our store, Gundams R Us, your favorite arms dealer. There's a link down below in the more info area. We get new stuff all the time, and sometimes I sell some of my customs, though I don't think you're going to see this one. He's pretty cool. I'm going to be keeping him. And when you buy from Gundams R Us, it helps support our stop-motion animation series, Gundam Father of Peace, where figures like this end up in stop-motion animation. Catch you later.